An 18-year-old in Singapore has been detained under the Internal Security Act after he planned to carry out attacks in the country using a knife and bombs. Post-secondary student Irfan Danyal Mohamad Nor had been self-radicalized with Islamic State or IS propaganda. Singapore authorities say he acted alone. Now, this is how Irfan mimicked IS fighters in photos taken of himself. He developed an interest in the terrorist organization after listening to foreign extremist preachers online in 2020. Irfan wanted to establish an Islamic caliphate on Coney Island off the northeast coast of Singapore. And on the 9th of August last year, during the country's National Day, he planted a self-made flag there. He then posted a photo on his social media. His timing was meant to symbolize the start of his own caliphate. In October, Irfan decided to fight in Nigeria for an IS affiliate. He identified Iraq, Syria, and Marawi in southern Philippines as alternative destinations if that plan fell through. He searched for flights to these places and planned to depart once he had saved enough money. Now, these are images of items that Irfan planned to use in a video to pledge his allegiance to IS. These include an incomplete self-made IS flag, a self-made headband, and a toy rifle. He also intended to wear a uniform of the National Cadet Corps, which he had joined in secondary school. Irfan planned to upload the video to galvanize support for IS and recruit an army of as many as 500 fighters for attacks in Singapore.
The 18-year-old had planned to carry out at least 3 attacks. Now, this included plans to ambush and kill people, carry out a mass casualty attack on an army camp, and bomb a gravesite at a mosque. Tan Se-hui takes us to these locations to try to understand his motivation.
Stab and kill what he calls disbelievers. This is the knife Irfan Danyal wanted to use on those including non-Muslims as well as Shia and Sufi Muslims. His planned modus operandi: ambush them in dark alleys and take their personal belongings as war spoils for his IS army. However, when he was arrested, he had not identified a location to do this. But he targeted mass casualty attacks at 2 other places, one of them in Ang Mo Kio. I'm at Amoy Key Camp, where the National Cadet Corps headquarters is located at. And as you can see, it's an extremely quiet and isolated place because it is a protected area. But Irfan was very familiar with this place because he was part of the NCC in secondary school. After watching car bombing videos online, he wanted to recruit a suicide bomber to mount a car bombing at a gate here. And he wanted to lead an ISIS army to attack the remaining guards at the gate using simple weapons like axes and knives. He also wanted to attack the guardhouse in the camp to steal firearms. The other location is the Haji Muhammad Saleh Mosque in Tanjong Pagar. It's where he had considered a bomb attack. At least 100 people visit this shrine every day, and this is where Saint Habib Nor's remains reside. But Irfan believed that it was un-Islamic because, as you can see, it is not on ground level and it was decorated. So he downloaded a bomb-making manual online and wanted to construct a homemade explosive to flatten the grave. But of course, this did not happen as the ISD caught up with him before he could carry out his plans.
Well, Irfan Danyal was arrested in December. Home Affairs and Law Minister Shanmugam says the 18-year-old was detained under the ISA because he was assessed to be an imminent security threat.
At the point of arrest, he was determined to commit violence. He is, in our assessment, likely to have carried out a knife attack at some point, not in the too distant future. We assessed him to be an imminent security threat. That is why he was arrested.
Mr. Shanmugam stresses that the detention of young, self-radicalized individuals does not spell the end of their potential.
The idea of detention is not that that's the end. That's hopefully a beginning and a new path. Also, of course, the primary intention is to prevent them from doing harm to others. But we treat it as an opportunity to try and get them onto a better path.
The Defence Ministry says the planned attack on one of its camps is a reminder to its personnel on the need to maintain vigilance. It says the Singapore Armed Forces has in place systems and measures to deter, detect and respond to different security threats at its camps. The ministry adds that service personnel are briefed on potential threats. They are also educated on what they should watch out for and respond to suspicious activities and signs.
The Education Ministry says that the last time Irfan was in school was at the close of term in November. The ministry says ISD's investigations show that there was no indication that he was successful in recruiting or radicalising others. Now, it regards this case very seriously and will continue to work with ISD and the community to safeguard students against such threats.